of you have been talking about my visa is cancelled, my visa is cancelled, but you don't know exactly what happens if your visa is cancelled. By the way, is it your first time to come across Mexcreation? Don't hesitate to give him a subscribe button and don't hesitate to follow his TikTok account. Also follow my other sister channel at where I talk about travel and everyday life. Yes, let us try to talk about what we call visa cancellation. I almost made a mistake, which I realized later, when it came to cancelling what we call the visa. I was about to save large sums of money if I was not very careful. That's what I would say. In this video, let me try to share to you some of the very important tips or very important information that you should know when your visa is cancelled. What are the very important steps, or what are those kind of categories or requirements that you should know in case your visa is cancelled, and what does it mean to you? And that's exactly that I wanted to share with you. Yes, let us try to see, when your visa is cancelled in Qatar, very many important things that definitely happen. Either when you look at from what you call the legal process to what you call avoiding what you call penalties. However, something that I need to let you know, I'm going to go in one by one. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you what happens in case this happens. Let's say, for example, there's what we call immediate termination of what you call the residence. Okay, once your visa is cancelled, your residence permit is also will become invalid. That is one thing that definitely you should understand. Once your visa is cancelled, your residence permit will be valid. You will no longer be legally allowed to live and work in the country. That is regarding to what you call your residence permit. If your visa is cancelled, it will be invalid. That means you are not legally allowed to live and work in the country. Let us try to look at what we call grace period. In case your visa is cancelled, what is the grace period? When you look at the grace period, it is typically only 30 days. After the cancellation of your visa, usually by either your sponsor, you have what you call 30 days. What do you need to do in the 30 days? First, you need to settle out all the pending dues that you need to owe. Let's say, for example, you have data packages you need to pay. Let's say, for example, you have the bank loan you need to pay. Let's say, for example, you have dues that are coming from all the way. You need to settle them. Then you need to leave the country, or you need to find what you call a new sponsor to apply what you call the change of sponsorship. That's something that I need to let you know. That since you do, if the 30 days are off and you do not exceed, that means you'll begin incurring what you call the fines, and you'll be liable to pay what you call the fines in that regard. Let us try to look at another situation. That is what you call the exit requirements, or what you call exit. Yes, once your visa is cancelled, then that means you should be able, or you must exit within what you call the grace period. Remember, when you talk about the grace period, they are only given 30 days for you to leave the country. However, in the same situation, in the grace period, once you find a new sponsor, then definitely you can apply for what you call your change of sponsorship. To some companies, during the grace period, or what you call the exit requirements, they will prepare for you the exit requirement, the exit permit for you to exit out of the country. However, something that you need to understand now, what is happening right now, there are some situations, very many individuals don't need what I call an exit permit for you to exit. You do not need what we call the permission of your sponsor for you to exit the country. In that, careful. However, still something that I need to let you know, if you need an exit, then definitely you need to prepare it earlier enough, such that you don't have what you call the incurred penalties, and also you don't have what you call penalties that may come in your way. Then let us try to look at what we call the visa transfer. Maybe for the visa transfer, it may be a little bit optional. If it is a little bit optional, let's say, for example, your visa is cancelled and you need to transfer. Yes, in this case, definitely what you need to understand is that you need to look for what you call change sponsorship. Then definitely you need to look for what you call transferring your sponsorship from one country, from one company to another. Yes, when you look at this transferring your sponsorship from one company to another, then definitely from one employer to another, then that means you'll need what you call an approval of what you call the Ministry of Labor for it to be done. Let us try to look at what is the impact on what you call the bank account and the rest. Yes, once your visa is cancelled, then your bank account will also be closed. It will be freeze. That means it will close off in the system, and you will not be able to be accessing. You will not be able to be accessing the services again. That's why some of you, when you see your residence permit is expired, then definitely they will give you a alert that you need to renew what we call your residence permit in that country. So for in those kind of situations, once your visa is cancelled, then that means the bank is going to freeze what you call your account until you renew your residence permit in any way. Then let us look at employment in case what you have. Let's say, for example, your visa is cancelled and your employment contract is terminated. Yes, once your employment contract is terminated, then definitely you have things that definitely you should understand is that you must ensure that you can leave the country, or you can definitely have to look for someone else that is going to take over your services to continue to reactivate what you call the process. Otherwise, when it gets over the 13 normal days, then definitely you'll be going into what you call penalties and overstay. Then something else. Okay, let us try to look at the last one. What happens if your visa is cancelled? When you look at re-entry, when you want to come back to Qatar, but your visa is cancelled when you are going out and you want to come back in Qatar. Yes, in these cases, most of the times you can return, you can come back to Qatar. Once your visa was cancelled, you can make a re-entry into the country. However, this is going to depend on the person, either who made a normal exit or a normal circumstance. Then definitely can be returned. But if you exited the country, if your visa was cancelled and you exited the country under abnormal exit, like through CID, and you have immigration problems, then definitely it will be very hard for you to come back into the country. Hope I've tried to share something for you. For a person who was asking me regarding to what you call what steps or what really happens when it comes to what you call cancellation of what